Very good afternoon and welcome to the Royal College grounds at Reed Avenue as we bring you this much-awaited fixture for the major Milroy Fernando Trophy between Royal and Isipathana, who are challengers here today, coming together after what have been some very interesting encounters in the last school season. At the moment, Royal, one of the two unbeaten sides in the league. Isipathana were beaten last week by St. Peter's in an unlikely turnaround of events at Bambalapitiya. So they will be smarting from that, and coming into this game, they will want to assert their authority once again. Without the likes of Kushan Indunil, not exactly the team that they were last year, but Royal also will probably say that they've lost a few key players to their lineup and will be hoping to do what they've been able to do this year, and that's to win. And it doesn't matter how they've won ugly, they've won pretty, they won big last weekend as well. So we'll wait and see how this clash goes in the next 80 minutes or so. It's a sweltering afternoon here at Reed Avenue, and that's going to take its toll on the boys as well. Look for this game to really open up in the last 20 minutes or so, because everyone will be throwing their attacking prowess at each other, and it's going to be an outstanding game of rugby. The ground already almost packed to the brim. There's a few seats remaining, lots of people outside hanging about trying to get into the ground, and it's going to be a real wonderful occasion, that much is for sure. Joining me in the commentary box, former Royal College captain Abdullah Yusuf and former St. Thomas's College Vice Captain Jan Gunathilaka also joining me in the commentary box. Abdullah, it's going to be a game like no other, because Royal and Isipathana really always bring out the best in each other, don't they?
Yes, good evening, Shanaka. There's no doubt about that. I think it's a fixture that everyone looks forward to. It's a trophy fixture as well. It's played for the major Milroy Fernando Trophy, so a lot on the line, not only in terms of that particular trophy, but in the overall context of the league as well. Isipathana, unfortunately, going down last week against St. Peter's, and Isipathana are a very dangerous beast when they've just suffered defeat. So Royal will have to be on their guard, and they'll need to be clinical today, because if they give any turnover ball to that Isipathana three-quarter line, I think they will be punished. Having said that, Royal, on the other hand, I think what has kept them unbeaten this season has been the outstanding defense, and I'm sure this today evening they will need another big defensive display if they are to emerge victorious.
Absolutely, that's been the cornerstone of their success so far this season, the fact that they've been able to keep teams out. But going back a few years, Abdullah, we've had encounters between these two teams way back in the early 2000s as well, when Isipathana have come and almost upset Royal's unbeaten runs, and then you've had matches where you've had real ding-dong affairs, and then of course that issue where Royal walked off the park here at this very same ground. So a controversial encounter, if there ever was one, between these two teams.
Yes, it always brings out the best and the worst of both schools, really. So it just shows how competitive these two schools have been. They've generally always been amongst the top 3 or top 4 consistently, and always have been in the run for the league title as well. So in that context, I think this season as well, I mean, true, Isipathana just suffered that shock defeat last week, but yet have every chance to go all the way, and I'm sure that they will definitely be putting their best foot forward.
We saw an outstanding game of rugby yesterday between Zahira College and Wesley. Jan, do you think that this is going to be a similar kind of encounter? Are we going to see the same positivity that we saw from Nawaz and Paul Toya yesterday, and from the 30 guys on the field, or the 46 guys on the field, really? It was an outstanding match. It was a game that the spectators really were drawing their breath about. Do you think we'll see that same brand of rugby today?
Well, if that's the case, I think everyone here is in for quite a showdown. Both teams were willing to run the ball at any point and at any cost, and well, Isipathana pretty much plays the same way. So we know what to expect from Isipathana, and Rod is somewhat a bit more conservative, and Rod has been successful in their set pieces. So it's probably going to be Royal forwards against Isipathana back shot.
Royal's backs did come to the party last week. They've got Janindu Dilshan, who is a really dangerous runner as well. He's a guy who can really turn a game on its head. They've got a few X-Factor players, but a few shifts in personnel as well. But looking at Isipathana first, Jan, do you think that this pack of forwards that Terence Henry, I think a couple of years ago, and Anuranga Walpola have brought up into an area where we didn't see Isipathana forward backs of the past, do you think that they've got what it takes at this point to hold off this really well-drilled, technically perfect Royal pack?
Well, unfortunately, most of the players who left from last year have all been forwards, so they're a bit light in terms of the forward, Chanaka, and that really showed through when they played St. Peter. St. Peter's having a bigger pack, and Isipathana struggled to contain them. So Royal would have really been keen spectators at that match, and they'll know that if they can batter away at this Isipathana forward line, that at some point they're going to give in.
Yes, it will be a matter of the collisions, how good the conditioning is as well. And in those terms, Abdullah, this Royal College team has really been outstanding. They took a battering from St. Joseph's early on. For about 50 minutes of that game, they took an absolute smashing and then came back in the last half an hour and managed to win that. Even against St. Peter's, they were taking a battering towards the last 10 minutes of the game, managed to make sure their defense held firm. The conditioning is one thing that sets this Royal team apart, isn't it?
Yes, the conditioning and also the ability to control possession, and I think more than ever it's going to be important today because, as Jayan very correctly said, this Isipathana team, they're a bit light when it comes up front, and that is an area where Royal traditionally as well as this year have been relatively strong. So it's important that they continue to maintain possession, control possession, not give away too much turnover ball, because Isipathana are very dangerous when the game is just broken open, and Royal wouldn't want that to happen today. They will want to keep possession tight. They will want to ensure that they control the pace of this game, and if they can do that and try and get some dominance up front, then I think they will be in a good state today.
You see the home team, Royal College, going back into their dressing rooms at the Mahesh Rodrigo Pavilion. You can see the Royal side, if you like to call it that, of the pavilion, all decked out in their traditional blue and gold. And you'll see on the other side few less home supporters in the ground at the moment. And they will be, of course, dressed in their traditional green, the green shirts, and that's the flag of Isipathana flying at the moment. We will come back with lots more action from this game and build up for the Major Milroy Fernando Trophy between Royal and Isipathana in just a few moments after the break.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
The Recap, your daily sports update. Wherever you are, tune into ThePapare.com at 6:30 p.m. on the dot and be updated on what happened around you.
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
What's happening here? The chance for
second ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Australia leading the series 1-0. The news is that Angelo Matthews has won the toss.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
Rule is trust yourself.
Fitness Diaries, in a mission to uplift the fitness arena in Sri Lanka.
The Breakdown, end-to-end Sri Lankan rugby.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අද විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
Very good afternoon and welcome back to our live coverage on ThePapare.com, the home of Sri Lankan sports, bringing you the best in schools rugby action here, powered by Dialogue, of course. And we are at the Reed Avenue grounds where Royal College are hosting their arch rivals, Isipathana College in the green and Royal in the traditional blue and gold, as we look out at the tunnel waiting for both teams to come out onto the ground. Isipathana doing exactly that to the rows of the green-shirted crowd. Owen Askey leads out his home team. Lennox Kalyaranatne in the number 8 jersey today. And it's going to be an absolutely intense battle, as we were talking about before the break. It's going to be the Royal forwards versus Isipathana backs. But that tune may change depending on what these two teams see in front of them. The man in charge of the whistle, you can see at the top of your screen, Rohan Fernando, who's been one of the better referees in this tournament so far. Stunning game yesterday between Zahira and Wesley as we look at the Royal College lineup. Himantha Hirushan, Hamza Riza moving to hooker, Ashen Fernandez, Siat, Adnan Indura, Asela Rodrigo, Lennox Kalyaranatne coming in at number 8 from the centres. Vigara Mihisanka, Owen Askey moves to fly half, Sabit Feroz, Tulaib Hassan, Janitha Dilshan, the danger man, Nikhil Gunawardena moves from the flank to the wing position, and Deshan Pereira is the man who brings up the last line of defence. For Isipathana, Vikas Srimadhav, an experienced player, Nirmal Atakorala, Ramesh Premadasa, Ravidu Anjula, Gayanath, Nilamuddin, Jayamana, Devin Gunaratne, the brother of Amalka Gunaratne, Harit Bandar, another experienced hand, Randy Silva, the brother of Rehan Silva, Chaminda Ruberu, Rankotke, the captain, Sabanayaka, and Chamod Fernando, the danger man at the back. So those are the teams that will do battle first up. And on the reserves bench, we'll tell you who's on the reserves bench after this game kicks off. Randy Silva gestures furiously for his forwards to get behind him. Rohan Fernando looks at his watch. The crowd warm up their voices. And the Major Milroy Trophy, Fernando Trophy, kicks off with Royal receiving against with their backs to the sun. Good kickoff receipt, something that teams have not been excellent at. Owen Askey under pressure immediately, has to keep this inside the field of play. And now they give the ball to one of the most dangerous runners, Chamud Fernando. Fernando passes. And now a little bit of space. There's a 3-on-1 overlap. The ball goes straight out to when it should probably have gone through the hands. Referee Rohan Fernando correctly puts his hand up for a knock forward. And now Royal will have a chance to counter-attack, but the referee will bring it back. And an opportunity squandered there, Abdullah.
Yes, Shanika, just before the break we were talking exactly that's what Royal can't afford to do. They can't just kick aimlessly and let this Isipathana backs run back at them, and that on that occasion the chase was very poor, it was uncoordinated, there were just the two centres, the wing was hung back, and if they continue to give that kind of space to this Isipathana back three, somewhere down this game they are going to pay for it.
So first drum of the game, Jan, how important is this?
This is where Royal has to really exert pressure on Isipathana. Good ball to start with.
Good stable strum for Mihisanka now. Gives it out to his skipper. And Askey thumps it down the field.
Like Abdullah said, Shanaka, this is where Royal can't afford to kick loosely and give Isipathana good field possession.
Chamod Fernando gets that ball away brilliantly. No idea how he managed to offload that ball through that tackle, but unfortunately for him, Chaminda kicks it away. So referee having a word with Askey there already. He wants to keep the tackles down, perhaps, is the call.
Shanika, another pretty aimless kick. They can't afford to do that now. This is the second time within the first 3 minutes where they have kicked relatively aimlessly. On both those occasions, there was an opportunity to find touch, and they went for distance and didn't find touch. And longer this goes on, it'll continue to play into Isipathana's hands.
Royals lineout has been one of their strengths this season. Although they don't have Malaysia in their lineup, they will still be able to win the lineouts through Ashan. Good tackle in midfield, but good upper body strength shown by the Royal ball carrier. Nihisanka to Aski, inside ball. Nice flat pass inside. Nihisanka goes blind again. Aski. That's a big hit from Sumudu Rankotge. And Isipathana have started with the intensity they needed to, but can they sustain for the next 75 minutes is the question.
Like Abdullah said, Isipathana losing last week probably would have really hurt them, Shanaka, and they seem like a side possessed. And in true Pathana's style, they've come out all guns blazing. So Royal will just have to ride the tide and ride out this next 10 minutes and just get some field position and don't let Isipathana get into any dangerous positions.
Anjula wins it at the front of the line-out for Isipathana, a shortened line-out as well. Royal flooding the breakdown. Here's a big man, Vikas Vimadava. Harit Bandara. Randy Silva offloads to Bandara again. Good tackle made on him. They don't have a scrum half, but the stand-in does well. Again, real intensity at the breakdown from both teams. Randy Silva, long ball over the top. And that's a nice little loop around, and Chamot Fernando will give it over for the try. The referee will have a word and then he'll award it. And it looks like it's Sabanayaka who scores the try. Beautiful long ball from Randy Silva, who spotted the space and the opportunity. And Chamot Fernando did brilliantly well to draw and pass. And the last gasp Royal tackle was just not enough for Vinoga Sabanayaka to be stopped before he rolled over.
That was Patna Rugby at its absolute best. So momentarily taking the winds out of the Royal sails, and like I said, they just had to ride the tide for about 10 minutes and keep Isipathana at bay. But that was just delightful, Shanaka.
That's the ball. That's the one that really created the try. Stood up the last defender. And Sabanayaka took the pass gratefully from Chamot Fernando, who has been dangerous already in the first few minutes. And Abdullah, Royal will need to recover quickly.
Yes, the most definitely will have to, Shanaka. But just getting back to that try, you just have to marvel at these Isipathana backs, how well they run straight and they preserve space always for the players outside them. And that was another occasion as we have a look at the conversion. And the conversion goes astray. So Isipathana, the ideal start for them. And I think Royal just haven't helped their cause so far. They have turned over possession from the kicks on 2 occasions where they should have found touch. They haven't, and they've given Isipathana the opportunity to run back at them. Royal need to tighten up their game a bit, because if not, it'll be just more of the same throughout the game.
I have to throw in a word about Harit Bandara also, Shanaka. He's been absolutely great. I mean, this school season we've seen some absolutely delightful nines. Boyagoda comes to mind from Trinity, and Harit Bandara has been as good. You know, his distribution has been fabulous.
Yes, he had handled the ball quite a few times in that movement. Isipathana don't seem to want to handle the ball, and that's the man Jan was talking about, Harit Bandara, who puts this deep but not into touch. Here's Deshan Fernando with a terrible kick. And the referee has his hand up for offside. Chamot Fernando now looking to create something again. Squeezes that ball back between his legs. And Vikas Vimadava steadies the ship.
Numbers out wide, Shanaka.
And here it is again. Sumudu Rankotge tries to maybe go a step too far before offloading. Harit Bandara now spots the space. Deshan Fernando has to go back. He'll be still reeling from that kick that he put in that nearly cost his team. But this time he manages to steady the ship and put the ball into touch.
So Royal very visibly rattled, Abdullah.
Yeah, Jan, I think they just need to slow the pace down. Now it's a line out. It's well known about their rolling maul. They just need to get it down, keep it tight, and just slow things down a bit, because they are just playing into Isipathana's hands by trying to play it at the pace they want to. And what's more, they're turning possession over as well, and that is just feeding into Isipathana's game plan, really.
Gayanath winning that at the front of the line out. Short line out adopted by Bilal Hassan, the Royal coach, the forwards coach. Here's Harit Bandara. Opts to change direction once again. Randy Silva looking for the dangerous feet of Chamod. This is good continuity. Ball went backwards, so referee will say play on. Randy Silva goes in there, but the Royal forwards overpower him, but the referee says illegally so, coming in from the side. So the early exchanges going in favor of the visitors.
Well, we can't say we didn't see it coming. So, when you play attacking football, when you play attacking in your face kind of rugby, the calls tend to go your way as well, Shanak, and that seems to be the case at the moment.
Yes, you can't fault the positivity with which Isipathana have approached this game so far.
There's no doubt about that, Shanaka, but I think Royal has played into that as well. They have turned position. I mean, I've kept on saying this over the last 5 minutes. They have been turning position over far too easily, and that's given Isipathana the attacking platform from which to maneuver themselves.
Athu Korala throws into the line out, and Isipathana trying to give Royal a taste of their own medicine. And the referee saying that the maul was taken down and gives it back to Isipathana. I'm not sure about that call. It certainly was a maul.
Yes, it most definitely was. I thought Royal did extremely well to sack that and not give Isipathana any momentum, but the referee deciding that it was going forward, so well, you've got to go with that. So anyway, it's another fantastic attacking opportunity for Royal. The Royals, the three-quarter defense is really going to be tested from this scrum.
Fortune favors the brave, Abdullah.
Well, interesting call, that one, because it was a maul. There was only two ways I could have seen that playing out, Abdullah. It would either have been a penalty to Isipathana for Royal bringing the maul down, or the ball should have gone to Royal for the ball being held up. So this third option is not one that could possibly have come out of that situation.
True, and as the Giant said, it was a very brave call indeed.
Well, he did it in front of the right section of the crowd. Lovely ball to Chamod Fernando there from Randy Silva, whose hands have been good so far. Vikas Vimada was screaming for it. Brought down. And here's Harit Bandara. Lovely long pass. And unfortunately unable to catch it was Ruberu. Or Chaminda rather. He spotted the space, but perhaps should have gone through the hands that time.
Yeah, that was a really poor option, and it's just saved Royals blushes on that occasion, because if he had gone through the hands, I think they had a couple of men out wide who could have gone over.
So exit pattern from here, surely, Abdullah. One hit up front, and they look for the spaces and put the ball, and you have to turn this Isipathana side around.
They just got to find touch, Jan. They just got to find touch. So far, they haven't been able to do that. Or they haven't been doing that.
Still haven't had a line out actually in this game. And once they do, we'll see that juggernaut being unleashed. And that's when Isipathana are going to be sapped. Owen Askey. Straight down the park again and into the hands of Chamod Fernando, the most dangerous runner in this Isipathana outfit. Oh, and it was a great pass, but just couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Again, Royal opting not to going for touch, Shanaka. So I'm not sure whether it's by design or it's just an error of judgment, really. But they need to be very, very careful, because that's an area where Isipathana are very, very comfortable and dangerous as well.
Yes, Fernando has looked a bit Christian Cullen-esque when he's had the ball in his hands. Fortunately, he doesn't have Jeff Wilson and Osborne on the other wings.
Not many teams do, Shanaka.
Open side break from Kalyanaratna. Here's a dangerous Royal pack now, looking for a chance to fight back. They've been camped in their own half. this whole time, and that's a big burst from Hamza Riza. Hamza Riza in the hooker's jersey. Hamza's going to score a 40-meter try easy. No, just brought down before the line. Mihisanka, Aski looks for the short pass. Royal with their tails up now. Hammering away at this Isipathana line. And penalty, says the referee, and brings them back 5 meters. They'll tap and go quickly. Mihisanka. Good defense from Isipathana. How long can they hold out? This big Royal pack is so well positioned usually. And knock forward, says the referee. So the scare abates for the moment for Isipathana, but that's what Royal are capable of with those forwards, Abdullah.
Yeah, Shanika, we've been talking from the start of this game. They've got to try and be a bit more tight on that occasion. Hamza very wisely going through the fringes and managing to find an opening, and that's the area which Royal have to do. They've got to try and wear down this Isipathana pack, because as the game goes on, they will find more opportunities and they'll be able to restrict Isipathana from getting any good possession.
Important scrum here. This is where they'll really be tested. Coming off the back was Devin Gunaratna. Randy Silva under tremendous pressure. Doesn't kick the ball into touch. And now Tuleb. Or Sabit Feroz actually. Aski, they're very narrow, Royal. But they'll be looking for the picks and go here. Aski again to his forwards. Mihisanka with good quick ball now. Here's a prop forward, Hirushan. It's been carrying well. Kalyanarathna doubles up, carries it forward again, gains 2 meters.
This is much better from Royal, Shanaka. You can
Yes.
see they've drawn the penalty as well.
Playing to their strengths. Aski now knows that there's a free play. Fernando reads it well, but the referee will come back for the penalty, and they'll have a chance to go within 2 points. This is well within Aski's range on his home ground, and I wouldn't imagine that they would not go for the points.
Yes, they got to take the point, Shanaka.
Well, they haven't. They're confident. They know that their line-out is their most potent weapon, and they know that rolling maul is almost unstoppable. So early doors, they've opted to go for it.
I have a feeling this one's not going out wide, Shanaka.
You and probably everyone else in this ground, Jan.
So Royal just need to be patient. They know they've got the better of Isipathana. Isipathana probably won't like to tackle these big Royal forwards. They just have to by the way their time, pick and drive, and the holes will open up.
Riza, who created this with the throw-in. Well taken at the back there by Indurwara. And this is that maul that we've grown so accustomed to over the last few years. And that's it. It's over. Easy does it for Royal. And Hamza Riza is the man who comes up with the ball. He threw it in and he finished it. And you can set your clock by how this Royal maul works. But as much as you know it's coming, there's very little you can do to stop it.
That was a wonderful peel, Shanaka. Royal showed a bit of patience. We just think that they have settled down now a bit more. Probably they were a bit panicky at the start of the game. But this is what you want to see, Royal, because I feel this Isipathana pack is vulnerable up front. And if Royal can just exploit that, then I think they'll be okay for the rest of the game.
I think that really would have settled the nerves, Jayan, especially when you know that you're up against a forward pack that are really dominant and that you can't afford to kick the ball out to them. That really demoralizes the opposition, doesn't it?
Yeah, that goes to show that possession and territory are of the essence for Royal. I mean, they just have to get into the opposition 22, and if they can be patient, the points will come. Either they'll get the line out and go over, or they'll have Owen Aski slotting in the points from there, Shanaka.
It's actually Nikhil Gunawardhan who kicked those points over. Nikhil, who's played at fullback, on the wing and at the flank position as well this season. 7 points to 5 now, Royal lead, and they'll be much happier to play from here as we watch the replay. Can see it stopping there, but Hamza Rees has got it nicely controlled at the back. And that's once, says the referee. And he just hangs on to the coattails of his forward runners. And that's perfect technique from Riza at the back. So well-drilled Royal pack drawing first blood against their opponents. And there's been a bit of a conference here between the fourth official and the main official, Rohan Fernando. He's gone off the park to have a discussion. We don't know with whom as we look out at the crowd who are gathered here at the Royal College Sports Complex at Reed Avenue. Having a chat with Mr. Mudan Nayak, I think, who is the head honcho of the Schools Association. Looks a bit of an impassioned chat there, Abdullah. Wonder what's going on.
No idea, Shanaka. Wonder if there's some crowd interference somewhere down the way. So, is it regard to some player registration? Because the discussion seemed to be centered along with the Isipathana bench. So, interesting to see what that's about.
Lacinta Di Costa, coach of Isipathana team, having something to say there as well. Might be something technical with regards to how many people they've got on the bench or something like that. I really hope it's not something fundamental to this game, but if it isn't, they're taking far too long about it.
Yes, something which may not necessarily please Royal because they just seem to have got back into this game. I'm sure Isipathana will enjoy that breather, really.
Players exchanging a few pleasantries from the halfway mark. You can see Randy Silva having a chat to someone on the other end. So Isipathana not taking a step back.
This is not what we want to see. There are people who piled in here by the hundreds, so I'm not too sure what the issue here is.
Hisham just tells us that the issue is that the water boys for Isipathana are not players from the squad, and they need to be squad players if they are to wear the water boy bibs and carry the water on. And that hasn't been the case for Isipathana at the moment, which is what the issue seems to be centering around. But really, this should be sorted out by the fourth officials.
Exactly. I mean, I don't see why that should impede with the game. You know, fine. I mean, they don't let the water boys run on till they've got the proper personnel doing it. I mean, there are people here just piled in to watch these two sides play out rugby, and for 10 minutes or for 15 minutes, we've seen some absolutely fabulous rugby. And now we have a technicality concerning who brings the water, Shanaka. Is that why we're at a standstill here?
Well, it's just a tragedy, isn't it? The fact that the people who are entrusted with making sure that the correct people do the correct jobs can't get it done without the referee in the middle, who's got enough problems of his own. He's got to manage this really intense battle. And now he's got to deal with this issue as well. I mean, this shouldn't be his problem, really.
Yes, it shouldn't be, but yet they have to enforce the law. And I think the rule is that the water boy has to be from the squad that has been registered. It cannot be an old boy or a person who is outside the registered list. It doesn't necessarily have to be the match day 23, but it has to be a player who has been registered with the team. And obviously, one of the schools have not followed those diktats to the letter.
By the looks of what we can see off camera, it looks like both schools seem to be guilty of it. We see some bibs being exchanged. So can see the Royal team impatient to get on with things. This is one of their big ball carriers you're seeing on the screen at the moment, Sasita Siat, who has been very good in the line-out, along with his buddy Fadil Faizer Adhan. The second row units have been very good for Royal recently. Looking back to guys like Umesh Madhushan, who's now playing for Havelocks Abdullah, the second rowers. And this is probably the influence also of Dushant Leuke, who has been an excellent line-out forward. He's really got these big guys coming through and playing some good skilled ball.
Yes, good skill ball. They've executed their plans very well. Royal in this particular game, though, have been a bit slow to try and execute those plans. But as we saw the last 5 minutes, I think Royal did extremely well to come back. Unfortunately, we are held up, and there just doesn't seem to be any end to this impasse, which is very, very unfortunate.
Yes, I really don't understand why it's taking so long. If a rule is a rule, then surely get somebody else wearing the Waterboy bib and carry on with the game.
Yes, and I think it's important that both school benches also just cooperate with the officials, because if you just keep on arguing and trying to play this tit-for-tat game, you're not going to go anywhere. So let's hope that Sena Council will prevail and will be able to get on with this game soon.
Well, much to the relief of the crowd, seems like we're ready to carry on with things. Hope whatever it is has been sorted out on the touchline. Isipathana's Sumudu Rankotge heavily strapped up there, the captain. Not really having the same kind of season that he was having last year, because he doesn't have that fulcrum of Kushan Idunul to work off of. Randy Silva now waits to restart after what seems like an eternity. And you can see how that concentration was affected. Royal not dealing with that kickoff well at all. And Aski looks to try and run it out, because there's a wall of Royal players blocking off.
It's good recovery by Royal on that occasion. They could have been in all sorts of trouble, but regrouped well, and they have just managed to clear their line. So another great attacking opportunity for Isipathana, just outside the 25. Royal will need to be on their guard, and Isipathana have shortened the line out. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of options they will use from this.
Athukorala throws into the front of the line out. They're using a few tricks in the line out. Randy Silva. Devin Gunaratne busts it forward. Here's Randy Silva. Chop tackle on him. Still going. The good continuity from Isipathana this time. But the referee saying that the arriving players didn't stay on their feet. So interesting call there. Isipathana with all the momentum. And see if there was a contest prevented here. Here's the big man carrying it forward. That was Premadasa. And yes, that's a correct call. But there was no real contest for possession there, so perhaps the referee could have allowed it, but technically it was correct. Giant, they've been pretty strict on those calls. I mean, as a forward, you know how difficult it is sometimes to keep your feet in those situations, especially when there's nobody hitting at you from the other side.
Absolutely, Shanaka, and especially when it's not contested, you'd hope to get away with it. But all we can ask for is that the referee be consistent. You know, some referees blow it in different ways.
Hamza Riza straight over the top of the line out.
I think Aski would have been better off just grabbing onto the ball and waiting for his forwards to set up 10th there.
Yes, certainly. Isipathana have managed to regain the ball. And Harit Bandara goes in after it. Randy Silva, not a very quick ball for him. Devin Gunaratne camped in midfield. Bandara again with a swift ball, and that's a little chip through to put Deshan Fernando under pressure. And he has faltered today, but now he tries to run himself out of trouble. The chase was not great from the Isipathana team, and now Royal find themselves with a little bit of space to try and clear this downfield. Straight down the throat once again of Sabanaika. Chamod now. Chamod looking for Harit Bandara. Bandara dummies. Little ball over the top. And Chaminda has had a miserable day today catching this ball. He's dropped about 3 very good passes coming to him. Don't forget you can catch all the news, updates and analysis on Around the Wickets with Roshan Abesinghe, who takes you through cricket's everything. Well, back live with the rugby now though, the Major Milroy Fernando Trophy on the ThePapare.
Shanaka Royal just need to be very careful with how they kick possession away, and as we see on that occasion, another handling error by the Isipathana wing 3. Royal very fortunate on that occasion, and they just need to be very careful with their kicking game. It's an area which they haven't been able to master so far.
Yes, Mihisanka's kick putting them under pressure. Here's Kalyana Ratna driven straight back into the pack. He rolls a couple of times, used that barrel roll that the international players are now using. Tuleb Hassan staying strong in the tackle there. Nice dummy by Janindu Dilshan. The ball spills forward and Harit Bandara now has managed to get back and gives it to Randy Silva, who was impeded by a well-placed Royal defender. Nice angle coming back by Gayanath, but good defense by Royal, hit them hard. And they've retreated 5 meters already. Randy Silva, another little chip kick. He knows that the fullback is not the most confident at the moment. And again, Deshan Pereira, who is at the back for Royal, has put his team under unnecessary pressure.
The Royal seem intent on giving Abdullah a heart attack this evening, Shanaka. I mean, the fullback did well to get out of trouble, but then why throw that pass? You just kick the ball or run towards where your support is.
Well, I thought he should have just allowed the ball to just roll out.
Yeah, precisely. So Isipathana with another golden opportunity to get on the scoreboard here. The scrum, I mean, has been pretty solid. I mean, they've got a smaller pack visibly, but they're holding their own, Shanaka, which is good to see.
Devin Gunaratna goes off the back. Not the same devastating effect his brother had, but good enough for the moment. But I think he lost that ball forward. And Aski now will do well to kick this into touch, which is exactly what he does, which is what Abdullah has been saying for the last half an hour or so, is what they should be doing.
And Roy get out of jail. So the seesaw battle continues here. And, Isipathana just failing to put that last man away. Royal camped in their own half, unable to get into a situation where they can really hurt Isipathana. I mean, anywhere in their 22 is where they become the most effective, and Isipathana just very happy to be playing rugby where they are.
News from elsewhere. St. Thomas is leading 7-3 as that throw is crooked. Actually, it's 10-5 between DS Seranayaka and Dharmaraja. Dharmaraja leading at the moment. And again, squandered opportunity there. The Korala not managing to throw in clean. And I would have expected Jayamana to make a little bit more of an effort to make the throw look straight. Mihisanka to Aski. Tuleb Hassan runs straight into the waiting arms of Ruberu. Aski again, quick ball. And now a little bit of space for Sabit Feroz. Seems like it's been lost. And now Randy Silva, or actually this time it's Chamod Fernando. It's a dangerous kick. Could have gone anywhere. And Nikhil Gunawardena is relieved to see that where it went is to touch.
I'd like to see Royal attacking a bit more on the fringes, Shanak. I think they're just trying to go a bit wide too early. And while they just try and penetrate that first line of defense, I don't think the forwards are getting there fast enough to create that next phase. and that's resulting in Royal turning possession over.
He's been scrambling quite a bit in defense, so he must be a little tired as well. Fadil taking that ball in the middle of the line out. So Royal Mall still rumbling forward. You can see Fadil. Hamza Riza manages to make the ball available, and now Hirushan. Good leg drive from the prop. Mihisanka now. There's no numbers for Royal, and Janitha Dilshan goes for the big handoff, but good tackle on him by his opposite number. They're looking for some space on the blind side. Here's Mihisanka again to Aski. Straight up the middle goes Acela Rodrigo. This is better from Royal. Keeping it tight, keeping it controlled. You can get there a meter at a time, they won't mind that. Mihisanka to Aski. Kalyana Ratna standing wide. Riza runs a good angle, but they were ready for him. Good pick and go that time. The defense on the fringes being tested, just as Abdullah was saying Royal should do. And here's Aski. Again, Janitha Dilshan goes very narrow. Stays on his feet well. But the referee says there was an obstruction there between Aski and Dilshan.
It's nonetheless, Shanak, I think Royal will be very happy with that passage of play. That's just what they need to do. Because if they start just going at this Isipathana forwards, I think they will reap the benefits during the last quarter of this game.
Absolutely, Abdullah. This is not going to be something that's a short-term gain for Royal. They're going to just completely batter these Isipathana forwards. And then when it comes to bench strength as well, I believe Royal probably have a bigger bench. And they can exhaust this Isipathana team into submission later on, because it's not easy defending mauls either. Even if the mauls only go 10 meters or 15 meters, you still got to defend that. So it's going to sap the energy a lot.
And it's very visible that Royal definitely have a weight advantage over this Isipathana pack, and they just need to exploit that.
It's better from Adhakorala. Vikas Rimadava is the unexpected recipient at the back. And Harit Bandara looks set for a box kick, which he puts up into the arms of Sabit Feroz, who collects it well and does brilliantly to go around the first defender. Still going, Sabit Feroz into the space. Sabit Feroz still going, tries to get the offload away, but does well to hold on to it. Knocked forward by Isipathana on the floor. And they'll be lucky to escape from that, but Sabit Feroz, what a counter-attack.
Yes, you wouldn't have been faulted if you thought that you put a green jersey on and it was a Isipathana wing tearing down that left flank, but fantastic counter run. He just had looked up, because I think Janitha Dilshan was out, and if he had offloaded, I think Dilshan would have just walked over for a try. But nonetheless, another attacking opportunity for Royal. It's right in the center. They can go either way, so it's a great attacking platform.
Here's the scrum Abdullah was talking about. It's interesting to notice how chasers are so average in Sri Lankan rugby. Even if they do get there, they try and make the spectacular tackle instead of just pushing the ball receiver out of options, making him run into a cul-de-sac and then trying to pick something up from there. Defenders go for the glory tackle and end up allowing a counter-attack, just as what happened there. Mihisanka waits. Aski with the long ball. Here's Deshan. In fact, it was Feroz again after his run. Owinaski. Flying up in defense was Randy. Royal still picking and going. And now they needed to keep that close, but instead they go wide. Feroz again has made quite a few meters so far in this passage of play. Mihisanka, Aski tries to go on his own. This is brave defense from Isipathana, but you can sense that the dam is about to burst. Roy doubling up nicely there. Good technique. Royal keeping it tight. Scrum half wants the ball, but the forwards don't give it to him. We'll do this one, chum, they say. And here it goes wide a little again to Hamza Riza, who's moved from number 8 to hooker. Had a Dane Coles-like run a little earlier in the game. Lovely try. Outstanding try there. Superb strength. It's Tuleb Hassan who scored that try, and he has been really strong this whole game, Abdullah. And as I was saying, Isipathana are defending bravely, but you could just sense it was about to break.
That's exactly what Royal just need to do, Shanika. They just need to wear this Isipathana pack down, and the results will come. They have got it here in this first half, but I guarantee you that as the game goes on, this pack will falter in the second half if Royal can continue to batter them.
Big direct number 12, Giant, that's the kind the coaches like.
Yes, what was interesting to note was every time Royal went out wide, Isipathana seemed somewhat comfortable in defending them. But the moment they took the direct route and kept ramming away and picking on the ball up and just, having that direct approach, Isipathana were 6s and 7s. So I think Royal pretty much have this figured out now, and it will be interesting to see how the next few minutes unfolds.
Nikul Gunawardena knocks over the extra points as well. He's done everything for his team, hasn't he? He's jumped in the line out, he's played fullback, now he's kicking conversions. And that's as utility as they come. Not the first time a Royal fullback has played on the flank, is it, Abdullah?
Well, let's not go there, Shanaka. Let's get back to this game. And Royal 14 points to 5 up after a very, very shaky start. So I think they'll be very pleased with this turnaround. And only thing, they just can't afford to take their foot off the pedal. They just need to continue to apply pressure on this Isipathana team.
Again, the restart's a little untidy and rushed into the kick. Was Aski, but it was a good clearance. Very good clearance, in fact. Isipathana will now need to run it back nearly 50 meters. That was an outstanding kick. Don't forget to log into ThePapare.com for an in-depth analysis of tactics and game plans of the school's rugby league with our buddy Sabir in the Back to the Board segment that's up every week. Great content here on ThePapare.com, your number one sports provider for schools, clubs or national sport action. Terribly crooked throw there. Referee asking whether they want a line out or a scrum. And Royal unsurprisingly saying we'll have the scrum, sir.
Yes, you can see the physical battering that the Isipathana forwards are taking. You just sense that it's taking its toll on them. This Royal just need to continue to apply the pressure. We've been talking about the breakdowns and that phase play, but even in the scrums, Royal are at least by that 1 meter, they're getting front foot ball, which is forcing that Isipathana defense to retreat by that 1 meter, which is making a difference.
Yes, it certainly is. A flank forward running out to tackle you off the back foot is very different from one who's coming off the end of a dominant scrum. Kalyana Ratna's Pass goes backwards, says the referee, says play on. But that time he says holding on. And Harit Bandara thinks about a quick one. Interesting call, that one again.
Yes, a good pressure by the Isipathana blindside flanker Jaiman, I believe. Just forcing Royal into that era. Isipathana, great opportunity to get back into the Royal half and mount another attack.
Randy Silva now looking for touch, but doesn't look like he's going to find it.
So you can just see errors creeping into this Isipathana game, Shanaka. Earlier it was the crooked line out, now not finding touch. So have been doing the correct things. It just seems to have psychologically got into the heads of the Isipathana team, and they just need to continue to apply that pressure.
Ball raked down the field. Chamod Fernando goes after it, and that's poor positioning by Chamod. Now he's got Harit Bandara with him, and they'll try and run this one out through Sabanayaka. Harit Bandara still looking for some options. Puts the kick in. And it's harem scarum stuff. Still got the penalty. They're back where they started.
So the referee adjudicating that Harit Bandara was taken out after the ball had already been kicked. So that was a tight call, Shanaka, but nevertheless Isipathana in a great position to close the half out on a high.
But it does give them the opportunity, but they've still got to win the line out, Giant, and that's not a guarantee at the moment.
The line out hasn't been going too well, so let's hope that they can work that out. First things first, they need to just find their marker here. They have to find the jumper here. Isipathana struggling the last two lineouts, and hopefully they'll be able to win back their own ball here.
That was the breakdown where Chamod Fernando's penalty came. Isipathana desperately trying to keep this ball in play, and they do so well. Bandara now. Nice flat ball to Randy Silva. Coming in on the angle was Rankotge, the skipper. Haven't seen him too much with ball in hand. Well controlled there in the end by Premadasa, the tight head prop. Here's Chaminda. Managed to catch the ball that time and also stay in field, which is a favor that he's done to his scrum half, who's given him good ball. Bandara again. Nice long pop to Rankotge. Rankotge puts a basketball pass over the top. Gayanath almost makes it to the line. And now Isipathana looking like they want to finish this half in style. They're only a few meters away. Bandara. And it was Anjula who went in for the high tackle. The referee says he'll come back for the penalty. No yellow card. It'll be interesting to see that again.
So Isipathana interestingly called for the scrum, Shanaka, and we're in the last minute of play. Possibly see Devin swoop into pick and go, and then send it out to Sumudra Rankotge waiting outside.
Well, that would be the smart thing to do, Giant. They know that they want these Royal forwards all gathered in one place. They don't want to take any more of a beating. So they want to give their backs one-on-one opportunities to run onto. Big scrum from Royal. Devin Gunaratne does well. How did the scrum half get there? He's not allowed in the pocket.
An opportunity goes a begging. 14-5 is quite a considerable advantage, given that Isipathana have been very threatening at times, but Royal have come into their own as the match has gone on, and the heavy forwards have battered away at Isipathana, and true to what we expected, it's Royal who muscle their way through and going with a 14-5 advantage.
Devin Gunaratne having a word with Rohan Fernando, saying, I barely picked the ball up when he tackled me. How could he do that if he wasn't in the pocket? And I think that's a very legitimate question that he asks. So that brings us to half-time in this major Milroy Fernando Trophy. Royal College leading by the 2 goals they've scored, 14. Isipathana scored first, just the 5 points. and not able to put points on the board in the last dying seconds of that first half either. We've got it all to play for when we come back for the next 40 minutes of this enthralling game. Both coaches would know exactly what's on offer now, so they'll come back with perhaps slightly altered game plans to see whether they can dominate this game. But at the moment, the way it's going, Royal College have really imparted a beating on the Isipathana College forwards, and that may take its toll in the last half hour of this game. We'll be back with schools rugby action on ThePapare.com live and exclusively when we come back.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
The Recap, your daily sports update. Wherever you are, tune into ThePapare.com at 6:30 p.m. on the dot and be updated on what happened around you.
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිඟ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
What's happening here? The chance for
second ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Australia leading the series 1-0. The news is that Angelo Matthews has won the toss.
බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
Fitness Diaries, in a mission to uplift the fitness arena in Sri Lanka.
The Breakdown, end-to-end Sri Lankan Rugby.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
The Recap, your daily sports update. Wherever you are, tune into ThePapare.com at 6:30 p.m. on the dot and be updated on what happened around you.
Very good afternoon and welcome back to a sun-bathed Royal College Sports Complex here. As Royal look to build on this 9-point lead that they have built up in the first half against an Isipathana team that has looked a little hapless in the face of the Royal onslaught with their forwards. But despite that, Isipathana have made some incisive runs. They scored the first try, but since then, after Royal got their hands on the ball, they have seemed a little powerless. Abdullah Yusuf and Jan Gunadolaka in the commentary box with me. this evening as Janitha Dilshan looks to get this second half underway. More of the same from Royal, Abdullah?
It's more of the same, Shanaka. I just like to see their kicking game tightening up a bit, get the chasers in place.
Massive hit there. Outstanding chase and tackle from Royal.
I don't know about him, but I certainly felt that hit, Shanaka.
Couldn't hear it over the noise, but Hamza Riza does well to collect that ball and give it to his scrum half, his fullback rather, Deshan Pereira. And now Janitha Dilshan shows why he's so dangerous. Sumudu Rankot, we are bringing him down. The Isipathana skipper has not been very good because he hasn't had a lot of the ball, to be fair to him. Hirushan has been carrying well all day today. In fact, that's Induvara. Ball hacked forward. Deshan cannot hang on to it. And here's the big handoff. And Sudhir Agayanath scores the try for Royal. Completely out of nowhere. Where did that try come from, you have to ask yourself.
It was just a loose pass, Shanaka. That's just the situation Royal don't want to get themselves into. Because you just give that turnover opportunity and it's going to be very hard for Royal to stop those Isipathana three quarters. Loose pass, it's just the start that Isipathana wanted. And Royal now will just need to be much more careful on how they execute from here on.
It's a lovely handoff. Not the kind we see every day.
I mean, up until that mindless pass that went to ground, Royal was doing everything right. They were slowing down the game. They were just picking and going, drawing the Isipathana defense. And, that was a needless pass out wide on a 50-meter mark, and the rest is history.
Kicked forward by the try scorer himself. Deshan Pereira making a hash of it, not for the first time this evening. And there's no way that the fullback can get an arm around this big second row.
When a second row has put a kick through and handed off the fullback to score a try, he's had a good evening. Let's hope that he can win some line-out ball too, because that's where Isipathana has been struggling. Well, I don't know about the Royals fans, but that score is really what the game needed, Shanaka. It's now on a knife's edge, and hopefully, wow, what a conversion. What a conversion.
Outstanding conversion from Chamod Fernando. Such a dangerous little player. And now there's just 2 points in it and the pressure's back on Royal. But once again, as we said at the kickoff, just more of the same. Royal will know that if they don't allow this game to slip, if they don't crack, then it's theirs for the taking. Janitha Dilshan will hope for another nice long hanging kick, which is exactly what he gives his team. Well taken that time though. Vikas Srimadava carries the ball forward and knocks it on. Good defense. First up from Royal.
Not quite sure those are the correct tactics, Shanaka. In your own 22, you don't want Isipathana to get into too many physical contests with this Royal 8, because it's chances are they're going to come up on the wrong end of it, and on that occasion they've turned position. But another attacking opportunity for Royal. I think they just need to try and build up a few phases, not go too wide too early, and just apply pressure. And main thing, just be in this Isipathana 22 for a while.
Yes, Royal will want the territorial battle to be won by them, and you can see already how the scrum has disintegrated. Mihisanka, Aski, Hassan coming back on the inside switch. Good bust up the middle there by Ashe and Fernando. Is Royal going a little sideways? They won't mind that though, because they've still got the ball. Wait patiently for the mistake to be made. And here's a quick ball from Mihisanka for Janitha Dilshan. Dilshan hands off one. Still going. It's 14 points to 12. And now the pass is dropped and Isipathana will come away with it. Harit Bandara waits. And it's put behind Deshan Pereira, who hasn't had a wonderful evening. The chase is coming from Rankotge and Chamot Fernando. And Deshan Pereira breathes a huge sigh of relief and thumps this as far as he can, which is about 10 meters outside the 22.
That's the second loose pass that's gone in this second half. Shanak and Royal have paid the price. I just think that when they decide to go wide, it's off static ball, and that just allows the Isipathana defensive line to come up and put pressure. It would be better for them to just do the pick and goes, because when they do that, they have the Isipathana line always on the back foot.
Four-man line out. It's knocked forward by Anjula. Here's Randy Silva and Jayamana holding up the Royal ball carrier. It wasn't a maul, said the referee. And Owen Askey. And that's a beautifully weighted kick by Owen Askey on his home ground. He has the ball on a string. Just bounced far enough inside the line so that it wasn't full out.
I think Royal just need to find touch when they're kicking Shanak. This Isipathana line out is struggling. Royal have seemed to have the number on them, and they're putting enough pressure. And if Royal just don't kick infield and just allow Isipathana to run back, I think they'll be okay.
Yes, I think now the word from the bench should be kick the ball out at all costs. That's a better line out from Isipathana. And here's the Isipathana maul now. Clearly brought down, but the referee saying carry on. And that's a nice little chip over the top. It's a lovely chip, and Chaminda just didn't have the gas to get there in time. But a slight change of tactics.
Yes, Sean, the momentum shift in this game has been amazing, isn't it? I mean, it's just reflective of the score, really. At the start, you saw at the start of the first half, you saw it was all Isipathana. Royal slowly clawed themselves back, and then from the start of the second half, it's been all Isipathana.
They'll try to grind this one out of their 22, or just inside their 22 perhaps. And that's stolen. Well stolen as well. Randy Silva, Rankotge. Sumadhu Rankotge looks for the pass. Can't find it. Sabit Feroz comes up to make a good tackle. Harit Bandara. Good bust straight through the middle there. And now Chamot Fernando stepping nicely. Such an elusive player even from close quarters. Still got it. Isipathana, good continuity now. They've got to look for options. Which one is it going to be? Should probably go straight through the middle. That's what they do. Harit Bandara now still waits. Devin Gunaratna now. Bandara waits again for the try scorer. This is Jayamana. Here's Sumadhu Rankotge now. Such a dangerous player, but not quite the incisive force he was last season. But still managed to hold on to the ball. This is great phase play from Isipathana, taking a leaf out of Royal's book. And now they've got space. Chamot Fernando needs to pass. He does. And Chaminda finally catches a pass. And he scores. Outstanding play by Isipathana there. They did the traditional thing. They smashed it. And then had the lovely hands to finish it with a beautiful Chamot Fernando little swerve.
Yes, you just got to hats off to Isipathana. The way they built up phases, they were very, very patient. They didn't force the issue, and they made the correct decision to give the ball out at the correct time. And they even had a man to spare out wide as well. So fantastic rugby by Isipathana. Royal now with everything to do, because this first half, the second half has been all Isipathana.
Watch it here. Ball goes wide. And Randy Silva knows exactly who to give it to because Chamut Fernando's there. You can see how he sat his defender on his backside. Owen Askey, in fact, it was.
Owen Askey had to make that tackle on Chamut Fernando, Shanaka. That's where that gap opened up. I mean, when you come up in one line, you have to, if the man's there, you have to take him on. Askey probably a bit guilty of waiting on the man, and the rest is history. So Isipathana right back in it, in front, in fact. And it's funny when things are going your way now, even the line out seems to be working for them.
Yes, let's not forget that came off a stolen line-out. That's not something that you're used to seeing Isipathana do against his Royal team. But clearly, Bilal Hassan, the forwards coach, probably noticed something and said, look, chump, this is where they're going. Try and put some pressure on.
Yes, probably. But I think you just, Royal just need to, I think, refocus. If you go back to that first half, I think they were slow to start off. And it's just followed the same pattern in the second half as well. It's just 17 points to 12 yet, everything to play for. Royal just need to get back into the Isipathana half and spend some time there.
Well, just one score in it, despite the fact that Isipathana have had everything going their way. Well taken there in the end by Anjula. That's a massive thump. And Deshan Pereira now kicks a fairly lame kick. Chamut Fernando doesn't manage to get it into his hands first up. And that's well stolen by Royal. Excellent turnover, and now this is where they'll be dangerous. They don't look to move it quickly, and will look for the forwards who are standing outside again. Kalyana Ratna takes that one in. Straight through the middle goes Royal, but Isipathana drive them back a meter or two. And now Askey to Hamza Riza, who has been dangerous with the ball in hand. Trying to rip the ball away is Isipathana defense, but Royal's body position is so good. Here's Royal. This is Hinduwara. This is the energy sapping stuff for the defense. Royal won't mind this one bit, even though they're pretty much in the same half of the field. Hinduwara carries it forward nicely, and it's a knock forward. Mihisanka.
I think you can attribute that knock on Shanaka to the pressure Isipathana defensive line press. I mean, that was just energy sapping stuff, but they held their ground, and eventually forced Royal into an error. So momentum, everything seems to be Isipathana's side. Royal need to be a bit careful because the way the Isipathana play this game, it can get away from you very, very fast.
Well, this is an important scrum. I think Royal really need to exert some pressure now, Jan, because they've been battering away at this. This is a scrum that they really need to put everything into.
They need to get a good hit on here. What Isipathana has been doing well is they've got that initial hit in, which has helped them to keep this marauding Royal pack at bay. But I mean, what Abdullah said was pretty correct. I mean, Royal just has to get a foothold in the game. They seem to have lost their way a bit, and that can happen when you play Isipathana. When they score one, they tend to score another one, and then the crowd gets into it, and it can be a tough sort of environment to be in. So let's hope that Royal manage to keep Isipathana Park down here.
Devin Gunaratna fights his way up the line, and now Deshan Pereira, with the confidence of a man who's had a difficult evening, lets the ball bounce into touch.
I have to speak again to the significance and the impact that Harit Bandara has had in this side. he's often not spoken about because you got players like Rankot Gay and Devin Gunratna running with ball in hand, and Chamod Fernando scoring the tries. But Harith Bandar has been absolutely sensational today, and he's part of the reason why Isipathana has got good quick ball, even though they've suffered in the lineouts and the scrums.
Yes, he's been very influential. More often than not makes the right decision. The ball going off the top and secured by Isipathana in the end. But referee going to have a word, saying please keep it lid on it. So the ball was not straight, so referee asking what they want. Athukorala getting a bit of a pat on the back and told to just calm down, son.
Very rare side, Shanaka. Royal's line-out has disintegrated in this second half, and it's probably one of the main reasons they find themselves in this situation.
Yes, it is probably their chief weapon. That's a good ball from Randy Silva. Chamod Fernando steps through. Chamod Fernando looked for the offload. There was just no time for Rankot Gay to get into space. Jayamana carrying that ball forward. Harith Bandar with a lovely flat pass. That tackle could have been really reckless for Masha and Fernando. Lucky it didn't make contact. And Isipathana coughing it up, but not without making a significant dent in Royal's line-out confidence.
Yes, definitely, Shanaka. Now Royal just need to get back into the Isipathana half as soon as possible and spend some time there, because the problem they have faced so far is that momentum has just swung completely Isipathana's way, and what that has resulted is that errors have crept into Royal's game, where generally it is their areas which generally they are strong in.
Janitha Dilshan managing to clear that one, but not as far as his forwards would have liked. Watch that holding on there. Just saw just before that a swinging arm, which luckily didn't make contact with anyone. Referee asking for the numbers in the line-out. Isipathana have shortened and narrowed their defensive pattern, knowing that this is probably going to come through the middle. Induvara carries it forward, and Mihisanka will look for the box kick. It's a good chase, and Chaminda does really well. Onto the park is Falil for Royal. And now Randy Silva will put this ball just behind Deshan Pereira, who, I must say, with Nikhil Gunawardena playing the way he is, I don't understand why Deshan Pereira has been chosen in this number 15 jersey today. If he's got any ability, then he's keeping it well disguised.
Yeah, Shanika, well, if it interests you, I think Nikhil has just moved into the pack, and I think Zakir has come off the bench.
Yes, Nikhil Gunawardena has moved into the pack. So quite a few chops and changes in this Royal team. Not really getting too much continuity in one position. But they're unbeaten, so it seems to be working.
Perhaps it keeps things fresh, Shanaka.
Everyone playing for their place. That's a massive scrum.
That's exactly what Royal should be doing. They should be just seizing control in the breakdowns and at set pieces, Shanaka. They have bigger forwards, they have stronger forwards, and they have to make it count. If they don't make it count, this Isipathana side will just be all over you like a rash.
Here they go again, still battering it up. Even in their half of the field, Aski puts this in towards Chamod Fernando. Fernando now. Such a dangerous runner. Looks for some support now. Eventually gets it. And Harith Bandara does brilliantly to come away with that ball. And that's a great ball from Randy Silva as well. Was knocked forward, unfortunately, by Silva, who was following up. But that could easily have turned into a try.
Some aimless kicking there, straight in. I mean, if you're kicking, you need to kick into space and give yourself every chance of winning the ball back. And I mean, Royal guilty of just kicking straight into Chamoth Fernando's hands, and that's not something you should be doing, especially when you're chasing the game like you are right now.
So yesterday, what happened when a kick was made? Should probably have just held on to that ball. But we saw a kick made to Yusran Lanthra yesterday, and he scored an 80-meter try. Probably ran 110 meters to score it as well. Get to run all the way around his winger, but when you kick ball to dangerous players, they can cut you open. So this is something that ASCII will have to put a lid on. Now running from their 22. Here's Janidul Dilshan. Sabit Feroz. Feroz goes straight round Chaminder. Sabit Feroz still going. Wonderful run from him. Chamoth Fernando doing brilliantly. There was no ruck, said the referee. I'm not sure whether that was the correct call. Came straight around, and Randy Silva now will put this one in behind Deshan Pereira, who tracks back. And again, I mean, given the game he's been having, I'm surprised he's not held his leg and gone off. Or that the replacements bench hasn't been used.
Just added to his woes is, Shana, the fact that he's now playing into the sun, so that can't make his job very much easier either.
Well, if we've noticed it down here, Randy Silva must have noticed that is a weak link in Royal's armoury. And they will keep putting the ball to him. Well taken there by the Royalists. They managed to secure that ball, and here they are going again, rumbling from their own 22. Janidul Dilshan under tremendous pressure. They allow the ball to bounce, and it bounces kindly into the hands of Harit Bandara. Chamoth Fernando goes straight through the gap. Sabah Naika, the try scorer. And again, the same penalty that they conceded on attack in the first half. Going straight over the top. Referee Fernando being very consistent there, but I thought Chamoth Fernando could probably have done a little better on that attack. Probably skinned his defender on the outside.
The danger of going out wide, Shanika, like that is you are isolating yourself to a certain extent. And as we all know, Royal is very, very good when it comes to the breakdown. And they have turned over position many times in this game from very precarious situations. And that's got them out of jail. But just having said that, Royal just don't seem to have learned from to tighten up their kicking game. They're intent on kicking to this back three and giving them the opportunity to run back. And that's causing all sorts of problems for Royal.
Well, we've been talking about the last quarter of the game, and that quarter is well upon us now, Abdullah. And this is where Royal will fancy themselves for the gap to open up. And extra man in the line out, perhaps. Mihisanka. Here's Ashen Fernando. Beats the first tackle. Still going the big prop. Isipathana trying to rip the ball away. No luck with that. ASCII. Lovely pass to Sabit Feroz. He's been dangerous today. Here's Royal through Hirushan. Good double up there from the Royal forwards. They're in the right part of the field for this now. Here's Aski to Tulaib Hassan, who has been very good today, very direct. Mihisanka, and Aski puts the kick in, and the referee will probably come back for the offside. Harit Bandara was definitely offside there. And what's the call here, gents? Go for the line out or take the points?
Correct call, Shanaga. Just got to get some points on the board because it's all been Isipathana in this half. Just getting some points on the board. It's again back even Stevens, and then everything to play for going into the last 15 minutes.
This is something we saw yesterday between Wesley and Zahira as well. Taking the points to tie the scores up. Nikhil Gunawardena, who's started life today on the wing. Now he has moved into the flank, and Mohammad Shakir comes in and says, hang on mate, I've been told to take this, so I will. He's been brought on as a specialist, a place kicker almost in this game. Shakir's first touch, and it looks straight, it looks true, and the kick is good. 17 points all. Royals scrambling their way back into this game. And now it's everybody's to play for Abdullah. It's the last quarter of the game. Is this where Royal run away with it, or do Isipathana have enough left in their tank? Randy Silva straight down the throat of Kalyanaratne. Really good upper body strength from the Royal forwards. You never see them, almost never see them rather, getting driven back in the first contact. Chamod Fernando has made an uncharacteristic error. There's no communication there between him and I think Devin Gunaratne, who is standing back. So that could be a costly error. Talked about a momentum shift, and has it shifted back now?
It's crucial error, Shanak. It was another aimless kick, but fortunately for Royal, the bounce going their way. So we have a look at that. A bit of confusion between the back row and the full back. And Chamod Fernando, who has been excellent for Isipathana, not just this season, but last season as well, committing a very, very rare error.
Kalyanaratne waits. 8, 9, 14 is what they were trying to do, but 9 is still going, Mihisanka. Now they're inside the 22. This is where they'll get their tails up because they can almost smell that try line. Royal score now, you would have to think that that would be the game. Aski looking for Hassan. Hassan has been very good today. You know what you're getting from him as a player. Ashen Fernando charges forward.
The referee has his hands out. Isipathana player not rolling himself off from that situation, and a great opportunity for Royal to go ahead in this game. That's just what Royal need to do, Shanaka. Just hit those fringes, try and draw Isipathana players into the breakdown and force that error. And well, they decided to go for the line out, which is an interesting call, but if they can get possession from this line out, then I think they will definitely fancy their chances of going over.
Well, I think that's a good aggressive call, Abdullah, because they know they're even Stevens now. They can't lose the game from here, so they're going to have a crack. They know that they've smashed Isipathana into submission almost. And from this distance, the rolling maul will do its job, or so Royal think. Randy Silva straight down the throat of Deshaun Pereira, who is this? Is he an imposter, Abdullah? He's pretending to be a Royal player. Goes for practice.
Well, it wouldn't have made much of a difference because the Royal player has been penalised for a late tackle, which is a very, very silly thing to do, Shanak. And looks like Royal are going to be down to 14 players for the rest of this match.
And that's Ashane Fernando, who was lucky to get away with a swinging arm a little earlier on because it didn't make contact. But now, perhaps for the rest of the game, Royal will be without their tight head forward. One of the biggest men in their pack, which could make really a huge difference. Is this the call? Is that the decision that changes the course of this game? Royal losing their biggest player. Shakir. Aski puts this one into space. Nice observation of space there by Aski.
Believe it was Tarindo Dilshan on that occasion. Shanaka found space and main thing got the ball out. But what a crucial error by Isipathana. They just needed to find touch and get themselves into the Royal 22.
Still got the line out ball 40 meters away from where they would have liked it. That's better from Isipathana. They win the line out but make a hash of the rest of it. Jayamana straightens. And Randy Silva now. Lovely ankle tap there by Tuleib Hassan, and they've lost the ball, Isipathana, but again a penalty. Not coming round from the side, says the referee, not entering through the gate.
That looked a bit harsh, Shanak. I thought that was a clean take, but then referee Fernand on the spot and ruling that there was no daylight between the tackler and the player, the tackle and the tackler going for the tackle, and then there was no clear release before he went for the ball again. So that's something that's been new in the game with a view to encourage more fluency. But sometimes it's almost too close to ball. Well, there you have it. Since we're in the last 10 minutes, I must ask the question, since both teams are tied, if it does end up this way, does Isipathana keep the trophy, or do they share it? What's the protocol?
I think they'll probably have a fight to the death on the podium, perhaps.
It's Colombo Shanaka, so no danger of that happening. As Isipathana on the attack.
Stepping back inside was the number 12, who hasn't carried the ball a lot today, Ruberu. Harit Bandara, dummies, offloads. Nice little interplay on the blind side there by the Isipathana players. They're in the right part of the field for them now. Harit Bandara. Long pass. And that's the off, holding on, says the referee. And for the first time in the game, perhaps Bandara taking the wrong option.
Yes, he had a man out wide as well, Shanaka. So I think Royal will count themselves extremely lucky to get away from that. Royal just now, the most, in all probability, will be down to 14 men for the rest of this game. So I think they just will need to tighten things up and not give too much pressure over to Isipathana.
All you need to know: results, fixtures, news, as Football 360 reviews a week's local and international football here on ThePapare.com, your #1 sports hub here in Sri Lanka. At the moment, we're bringing you live Major Milroy Fernando Trophy action from the Royal College Sports Complex as the shadows lengthen over this ground. And news, exciting news from across at Longdon Place, St. Thomas's and Science College. 15 points to 12 in favour of St. Thomas's. Not won that game by any stretch of the imagination. And here it's 17 points all. Sumudu Rankotge Sumudhu Rankotke swoops down on the ball. Rankotke is over. Sumudhu Rankotke scoring the try that might win the game for Isipathana. What a mistake from Royal once again. But the referee having a chat with Dinka Piris. And the try is scored. I think the referee was just checking whether there was a knock-on in the tackle. Don't think there was one. That's the hit. The pass went nowhere. It was just a rank bad pass, really. Sabit Feroz got beaten to the ball by Rankotke, and once he did, that was pretty much the end of that. So Rankotke, it's not a try that we are used to seeing him score. It's a poacher's try, not those brilliant running tries that we saw him score last year, but he'll take it all the same.
Shanik, a poor decision making by Royal on all counts. They had absolutely no need to run that ball from that situation. They just needed to get back into the Isipathana half and try and apply pressure. That was a faulty pass, and then Sabit, I thought, was very lackadaisical in his approach. He should have shown a bit more urgency as well.
Chamud Fernando bangs that one off the post. Is that going to come back to haunt Isipathana?
So that's very unfortunate. Isipathana, I mean, 2 points was there for the taking, and let's see if that comes back to bite Chamud. So Royal have to score now.
They absolutely have to score, and they know they can still win it. Well taken there by Anjula. Harit Bandara knows they just need to play this in their half of the pitch. Deshan Pereira. Hamza Riza. Met by Sabanaika.
Isipathana with their tails up at the moment, but Royal have to get men behind the ball and secure that ball.
Lehan D'Souza has moved into the scrum half position. Isipathana now, they cannot afford to give away a penalty in this part of the pitch. Royal battering away without their biggest battering ram, Ashen Fernando, who's in the sin bin. Lehan D'Souza. Here's another kick from Aski.
I'm not sure if that's the best option, Abdullah.
Not at all. Harit Bandara does really well. And here's Chaminda, who scored a try earlier on in the game. Harit Bandara, beautiful control from him at close quarters. Vikas Rimadava. Bandara again. Now they've got numbers. Devin Gururatna juggles and holds on. Ruberu needs some support. Harit Bandara now again. Atakorala, and ball dropped by Jayamana. Costly mistake from the open side flank, and Royal now will have a chance to have a final crack at this Isipathana College line.
It's now or never.
Here's Aski again.
Whoa.
That ball looked very flat.
Yep.
And Sabit Feroz has been the most penetrative runner for Royal College.
That was probably the right call by referee Fernando.
Hamza Riza. He's been so good today.
Well,
I thought they let him run far enough that time.
I think that's something that we see a lot in the schoolboy game, though. Even though you let the opposition player run 10 meters, you tend to get penalized for it.
Yeah, I thought that was not a good call, because Hamza Riza did have a chance to run his 10 meters.
Is that time for the kick?
Well, there is time for the line out. They're going to have to roll this one all of 35 meters. Or 30 meters, and they've done that before. So Royal will be confident.
It's also 14 players all, Shanaka, from both sides. So it's even Stevens. I'm sure Royal would like that to be reflected in the score as well.
Hamza Riza who made that break. Nikhil Gunawardena at number 2 in the line-out with number 14 on his back. An incongruous situation if there ever was one. Gunawardena goes to the back and it's not a good line-out. It's well crooked. And some costly errors, Abdullah, creeping into the Royal game at crucial times.
Pressure, Shanaka. This is what pressure can do to you. So the clock that we have says 80 minutes, but we're playing to referee Fernando's time. This just might be the last play, and Royal have no choice but to get all 8 forwards, or should I say 7 forwards behind the ball and just give it an almighty shove.
Well, both packs now down to 7 men. That'll affect Royal a little bit more because their biggest man is off. That's a huge shove by Isipathana, by Royal rather. One last crack. Tuleb Hassan, or Johnny the Dilshan rather, going straight. And the penalty comes. Oh dear. That must be the game for Royal. Holding on, says the referee, and Johnny the Dilshan smacks himself on his forehead because he knows that that was where the game could have been won. Owen Askey asking why. He cannot believe he's let that 9-point lead at halftime slip. Randy Silva thumps this into the stands, and that's the game. The Major Milroy Fernando Trophy goes to Isipathana College against all odds. This big Royal pack, not helped by some fairly inept work outside them and at fullback. A game to forget for Deshan Pereira. A game to forget for Johnny the Dilshan as well, for some fairly obvious errors that were made in the last bit of the game. Tactically, Royal seemed to lose it in the second half. And despite battering away Isipathana, the green blood flowing through their veins, they held on. But another enthralling game of rugby, Abdullah, and Royal will have to scratch their heads and wonder what happened.
I mean, credit to Isipathana. They came out all guns blazing that second half, and they probably seemed to want it more than Royal in the second half. But you would have backed Royal to win this with a bigger set of forwards. They're probably the more conditioned side. But, well, it proved to be a bridge to many. They got away with it against St. Peter's. They got away with it against St. Joseph's. And Isipathana, unfortunately, had things go their way towards the last quarter.
Well, we have to speak about a man of the match as well, and in my book, of course, I don't need to look any further than Harit Bandara for the way he controlled this game. There's some other good performances from Chamod Fernando as well for Isipathana and the 2 second rowers, Anjula and Gayanath. But if Abdullah is in agreement, I think it'll be unanimous in the commentary box.
Yeah, Shanak, I don't think I can argue with that. I thought he was brilliant. He marshaled the forwards who were continuously on the back foot. I thought he kept them in control. He organized the defensive lines well, at fringes as well. So I think all in all, I don't think many people will argue against that choice for man of the match.
Well, we started off this evening's proceedings with 2 unbeaten teams, Trinity and Royal. 22 points to 17 is how it finishes up. And now there is only 1 unbeaten team left in this championship so far, and that is Trinity. They will be playing on Monday. And we'll see how that goes here. They're unlikely to lose against Prince of Wales, that's for sure. But this game has been an absolutely stunning performance by Isipathana, who came through and scored a couple of poachers' tries. You can see the disconsolate Royalists just cannot believe that they let that lead slip. But you have to admit that Isipathana also played well, and Royal lost it for themselves, Abdels.
Yeah, Shanak, the margins are so fine in this kind of close contest. Just one small wrong decision can be so costly, as we saw on that occasion. If Royal had managed to clear their lines rather than opting to run, maybe the situation may have been different. But lots of credit to Isipathana. I thought they hung in there. We expected their forwards to disintegrate to a great extent. It did happen, but not to the extent Royal would have wanted to. And also, I think an area where Royal probably paid the price was losing one of their big carriers. going into the last 10 minutes in Ashen Fernando. A reckless late tackle sent him into the sin bin, and Royal had to play those last 10 minutes with probably their best ball carrier seated in the sin bin.
Yes, that was a bit of a rush of blood which cost them dearly. And again, it's a moral boost for the smaller pack, isn't it, Jan, when you know that you're going to be playing the next 10 minutes without the biggest and hardest ball carrier on the other team.
Oh yes, and they really got their tails up. You know, in the first half, Royal Hills Way, they were just battering them, and I thought Isipathana at some point would struggle to keep tempo with the Royal forwards. But you know, after their backs got over the line and they went ahead on the scoreboard, there was no turning back. And you could even argue that they probably could have scored even a couple more on a couple more occasions, but if not for a wayward pass or hanging on to the ball. So in the end, I think it's a fair result. I think the teams that probably wanted more won.
Yes, there's a lot of heart in this Isipathana performance, and a lot of heart in the Royal performance as well. Just not enough good decision making on the pitch. And news from Bogambara is that Dharmaraja have beaten DS by 45 points to 12 as we watch this victorious Isipathana team. This is the team they come to beat. This is their big game in the season, Abdullah, and they are very, very happy that they've got this trophy. Last week against St. Peter's will matter nothing to them now.
Yes, I think full credit to this Isipathana 15. Shanaka, I thought possessing a much inferior, at least in terms of weight, in the up front. I thought they gallantly stood up to that Royal onslaught, especially from the Royal 8. And I don't think there are too many complaints. It's a game that really could have gone either way, but end of the day, I think Isipathana just made probably the better decisions at the better times, and that resulted in them emerging victorious today.
Yes, some really good work from Harit Bandara, man of the match today. As we look at the key stats, 22 points to 17 to Isipathana. The visitors winning at the Royal College Sports Complex. They get a bonus point as well with 4 tries and 1 conversion, whereas Royal had 2 tries, 2 conversions and 1 penalty. So that's the end of the game. 26th match of this long and rigorous school season. So just a 1 unbeaten team remaining, Trinity. Let's see whether they will continue the season unbeaten or whether someone will end that run for them. From all of us here, Jayan Gunatilaka, Abdullah Yusuf, the rest of the Papare team and myself from the Royal College Sports Complex is goodbye for now. We'll see you tomorrow and day after.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අද විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
The Recap, your daily sports update. Wherever you are, tune into ThePapare.com at 6:30 p.m. on the dot and be updated on what happened around you.
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
What's happening here? The chance for
Second ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Australia leading the series 1-0. The news is that Angelo Matthews has won the toss.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
Fitness Diaries, in a mission to uplift the fitness arena in Sri Lanka.
The Breakdown, end-to-end Sri Lankan Rugby.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහි බෙදන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
The Recap, your daily sports update. Wherever you are, tune into ThePapare.com at 6:30 p.m. on the dot and be updated on what happened around you.
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහි බෙදන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
What's happening here? The transfer.
Second ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Australia leading the series 1-0. The news is that Angelo Matthews has won the toss.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහි බෙදන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.